Good morning and welcome to my podcast. I'm Bob Pace. I'm your host for How to Fight CPS and Keep Your Children and Say Your Children. My apologies for being late coming on the podcast. Today is the 4th. I wish you all a happy 4th of July. Where I live, it's a real hectic time. I was going along pretty good here, but then I was faced with the parking situation. I'm mobile, by the way. Right now, I'm having a terrible time with my vehicle getting through smog, and so I can't park it on the public streets. Uh, so I have to find a shopping center and a Starbucks or a FedEx that's working so that I could use their Wi-Fi and so I can broadcast on my phone. But anyway, that's all immaterial. That's my problem. I'm doing the best I can. I care about you people. I've been doing this since October, twice a day. And it's a lot. I've been through CPS. I am a victim of CPS. My children have been stolen by CPS. And one of them today is still not with me. I've been fighting them for 15 years, 3 years very actively with the attorney. And I'm trying to tell you, you're against the hardest agency I've ever known in my life. And it's been a long time. I'm a dinosaur. And I've been around a long time. And I'm trying to tell you that it's very hard when you deal with the agency that's not transparent, that lies, deceits, revenge. There's a nice word I can say about CPS. And I'm not saying they're not good CPS people, but the people I've encountered or the stories I've heard from people, our firsthand knowledge and so forth, gives me a different perspective. I've only had one CPS worker appear on my show. Her name was Carol from Maryland. And she was a nice lady, and she said that she was educated as a clinical psychologist in college, and that when she started working for the state of Maryland, they put her through a 6-month training. I'm really amazed because everybody I've heard from Maryland is negative. But there's hope out there. And I really want you all to participate in this podcast so I can help you. It's been a long journey for a lot of you. Some of you have been in it for years. I have some regular podcast people. Right now I'm notifying them. I'm notifying them. So let me see. Okay. Where are you? All right, I've notified some of our regular people. We have someone live in the room. Diana Guzman, I remember you. You're from Las Vegas, Nevada, if I believe I'm correct. And yes, you are. Bob, it's me, Diana. I went to court yesterday, and they said they're going to start my process of reunification, but I need to follow a case plan first to what that means. Well, Diana, that's good news. You got to go with that because right now the CPS people are bad people. They just really aren't your friend. And so I recommend that you go with whatever plan they're doing. Just grit your teeth and follow it because don't argue with them. Don't talk. Don't say too much. It's yes, no answers, and you'll be fine. And I'm so happy that's coming to you. This is so nice to hear from you all that call back in and say that what I told you may work. It has helped you. I'm not an attorney. I'm a guy. I'm a father, a loving father, a husband of 32 years with 6 children. And I tell you, I care about you as my family out there that you're calling in here because you may not have a spouse, or you may be a single mom playing both the father and the daddy role, or you may be a single father because maybe your wife had passed away or whatever. So um, I just really, uh, I try my best to do what I can on this show. I do spend time ahead of the show to think about what to talk about, and a lot of this is repetitious because I have new people every day. And speaking of that, I need to go over the ground rules of how to participate in this live broadcast. Um, I don't know why I have the. I need to plug in my headphone set because I hear. Hopefully, that'll eliminate a lot of the background noise, and you can still hear me. If you hear me, give me a thumbs up. All right, there's a number posted on my screen. It says Bob Pace call in 626-698-0990. That's my cell phone. I am live. I'll double check to make sure that I can receive calls. That's one way you can participate on this podcast. Um, it's really, it's really, it's really a nice way because I put you on speakerphone. Now I got to make sure my Wi-Fi is connected to Starbucks. All right, I'm locked into Starbucks. Okay. All right, I'm in Starbucks, and so my phone connection. Double check and make sure my sound is up. Yep, sound is up. Everything is looking good, and that way you can call into my phone. I use a Vonage as my application on my phone for my phone connection, and so that does work. I had people from Chino call in after my hours or before my hours. Sierra Madre too. You know, the best time to do is call me between the hours of 10 in the morning for 1 hour Pacific Standard Time and 7 o'clock at night. Those are my typical times. On Sunday, I'm on at 8 o'clock in the morning. I go be with my son at church that Sunday morning. We're trying to bond as a family, get my life back together. I too have a family. Even though I'm a dinosaur, I still have a young family, and I do try to take care of them. I'm the provider, and been doing it now for, well, with this family, 32 years. And so that's a long time. And my youngest just graduated from high school, and he's going to go to college. And I'm so successful that it's happening. He's doing it all his own, just like I did at 18. But he still lives at home, which is fine with me. And then I have my other son, who is 24, be 25 this August. He had a spiral because of CPS, and now he's taken better. I've really helped him. But CPS hurt my family big time. They did. They're an evil agency. And I'm sorry to say that about anybody, but I haven't run across any of them, and I'll tell you the reasons why. Another way that you can be on my podcast is that you can text in a message, and that's fine. I love to have text messages, and I try to read them. I already had several this morning from Las Vegas, Nevada, or Las Vegas, Nevada, and she's getting along in her case. She gives me an update, which I love to hear. But when you type in your comments, make sure it's about CPS questions. I want it to be about CPS. That's what we're here for. I know there's a lot of other topics we can talk about, but this is for the child protection system. I identify CPS as the child protection system because there's so many CPS acronyms out there. California, it's Child Protection Services. Oklahoma, it's Child Protection Service. Arizona's Department of Children's Services. Um, and other places, Department of Children and Family Services. There's a lot of different names. So when I say CPS, I'm referring to the system, which is a branch of Social Security that's supposed to protect our children through neglect and abuse. And also do family reunification. That's something I think that CPS has forgotten about is family reunification. It's every child they investigate is supposedly in extreme danger and they need to take them, which I think is wrong. So I'm telling you, be very, very uh, careful with this agency. Um, so when you text in your questions, please show me your name, city, state, or country, and be complete with your CPS case. It's hard for me to play ping pong ball. What I mean is, you'll say a couple things and leave me hanging, then I have to ask you, and then you answer, and then some more. Try to be complete. Start off with the case in the beginning. How many children? Were there multiple fathers? Were there multiple mothers? Um, I know this is an equal thing there, and you have to tell what the suspected abuse was, neglect or abuse. Those are the two things. And then you need to tell me if your child was taken. Did they enter your home illegally? Did they take your child illegally? Did they take it through medical trafficking? There's lots of ways that I need to know. And about your case, it's kind of like you lead it through your whole case and then you bring it to the present day. What's your next trial date? What's your name? And I can help you. I know a lot of things. There's things like the ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act. That's the Native American Indians that has a protective clause in there. There's a 388 motion, a motion to have a hearing before the judge. There's all kinds of different things that I can help you with from experience from others and um, from what you came across. And so, um, please, type in your questions. I'll help you. Also, the reason why I say countries because we have people from other countries. Liberia was just on last night. That's a country in West Africa on the coast. So far, I've had Australia and Canada, United Kingdom, Ghana, which is a small country north of Brazil, east of Venezuela on the coast. They had called in Mexico, south of our border. And then we've had Denmark and Sweden, two European countries that have called in. I've had from other places in Africa, I've had Mozambique, north of South Africa, south of Somalia, west of Madagascar. And then I've had Rwanda, which is in Central East Africa, above um, above uh, um, Mozambique. Let me see who else. I mentioned Liberia on the west coast of Africa. So it's been a really um, you want to put over here if you want more room. And so I I really uh, I've had a very interesting. Over 500 people have talked to me in the last 10 months. And it's been really good. Um, you guys have really expressed and opened your hearts, and I feel for you out there. So you can text me a comment, and I'd love to hear from you. Lastly, another way that you can interact with the podcast is you can be a guest on our show. I have a show producer. Her name is Grace. She works really hard behind the scenes. She's much appreciated, and she'll schedule you to be on my show. All you have to do is email her at grace@vincentwdavis.com. That's grace@vincentwdavis.com. And so it is it is really behooves you to be a guest because that way you're interactive with me and you can help out and you can see other things and we can help each other. All you need to do is pick one of my 14 shows. I want to be on Bob's Wednesday morning show, Bob's Friday evening show, Bob's Sunday morning show. That's what I like to be on there. So you pick those dates and tell them, and I'm glad you be on there. So you have 14 shows to pick from. Anyway, if you hear a lot of background now, it's not too far from me. Is the biggest parade east of the Mississippi, and it's a 4th of July weekend. There's a lot of hustle and bustles and people that just, I guess they just want to be loud. I'm trying to do my best here. Sorry for the background sounds here. I'm hoping that y'all can hear me. You see. Um, yes, Diana Guzman, I know you're a single mom, and it's hard because you're also a father for your children. And here is Martinez. When the jurisdictional paper is fake stuff that I never said who I contact to make sure it's correct. I think I'm trying to understand you. I don't know what city, state, or country you're from, Martina. Oh, from the East. You're from East LA. Okay. It's Monterey Park. I know the court. I know what you're talking about. Okay, we have Martinez from East LA in California. And she's wondering about the jurisdictional papers, fake stuff or not. Well, you know, I hate to say it, that CPS notorious using copy papers of other people's cases as warrants. They will lie, they will cheat, to do anything. So in order to find out if the paper is legit, there's several ways you can do it. It should have a signature of the judge on there, and there'd be an embossed stamp. You can feel the paper raised. You put your finger near his signature to the embossed stamp, you'll feel bumps. That is a legitimate paper. Furthermore, if you can always ask the court clerk. You go to the dependency court and you say, I'd like to have a copy of the jurisdictional paper. They'll provide you one. If you're low income, they'll give you one free. You just have to fill out some more paperwork. But they will help you. They do care about you. The clerks do and stuff, so they will help you. So that's one way to determine it. Also, you need to have your attorney. And I don't mean your public defender. I mean a true def- defense, a true family um, detention uh, attorney. They can look at it. In fact, I should bring up one of my rules. Rules number one is that you need to have an attorney to fight. You need to have an attorney fight your case. And that is, we have one here. His name is Mr. Vincent W. Davis. And he can be reached at 888. Let me take down the guest one here. And he can be reached at 888 And understand, Martinez, they're going to try to prove your neglect. And have they identified what you're neglect about? Have they identified what you neglect about? Hang on to your kids. Don't let them take your children. You do not want to do that. You need to hang on to your children. It's very, very important. Um, this attorney, he has 35 years of experience fighting CPS and getting your kids back. He's a trial attorney. He's a fighter. He has fought CPS. He's done civil lawsuits, both in dependency court, both in federal court and state court. He's fought them civilly. And you really need to fight him. It's really, this is what this attorney is all about. He is a fighter. Right now, you can schedule a consultation for 30 minutes with Mr. Davis for only $60. He only charges you $2 a minute. That's 30 minutes for $60, and he'll help you navigate from CPS and help you and show you the ways of how you get your kids back. And if you like him, and he's not too far from you, um, Martinez, you can hire him and talk to him about a retainer. He's the best in the country. He'll go any state. He'll go Northern California, and so he will help you any way he can. So it's very, very important that you have an attorney. Now, the court appointed attorney is a waste of time because they won't fight for you. They work for the social services, they work for the judge. They really don't work for you. They wouldn't come and talk to you ahead of time. They got a caseload of 30 or more clients. They don't have enough time. They just in there like they're herding cattle. And it's sad because it's a waste of time. And nothing heard about horror stories. My public defender was so bad, and the ones you replace are just as worse. So the only way you're really going to fight this is to hire an attorney. And I know it's a lot of money, but I had to sell my house. I had to do a lot of things I didn't want to do. Not only has CPS ruined my life, they ruined my credit, they've stolen my house, they've taken one of my children permanently. It was so bad that they convinced my 12-year-old that she needs to divorce her parents and she needs to seal her birth certificate and she needs to um, change her name completely and then be adopted by a foster care family. It was terrible. And that was all because of revenge. That social worker was so mad because my attorney, Vincent Davis, caught her with several lies on the stand. We have a lawsuit, a civil lawsuit. And if I could drum up some more money, I'd do the lawsuit. It's sad because they got away with it. They got away with murder, and they alienated and stole my stole my uh, stole my stole my daughter, our daughter from wife and I. That's hard. I don't know what it is, and her birthday comes up in 5 days, and she'll be 22 years old, and I've not seen or held her since 12 years of age. And it's a hard thing to know that you have a daughter out there that you can't participate or help her go to college or help her with anything. So, to be eliminated, to be divorced is the most ludicrous thing I ever heard of what CPS does. They don't believe in reunification. They do not believe it. And the reason why I'm saying that, the reason why you need this attorney, and I'm trying to tell you, fighting CPS is like open heart surgery. You know that you're going to have open heart surgery, you're going to get a bona fide doctor. And that doctor is going to be somebody that knows how to perform open heart surgery. They've gone to medical schools and they've gone to done an internship and they've mentored another doctor and they got a license. Right now, you would not operate on yourself. You're a layman. You would not cut it open your chest. I don't think you'd let your spouse do it. I don't think you'd let your family or friends do it. And you wouldn't let an auto mechanic or a plumber do it. You need a professional. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. You're dealing with the hardest agency, harder than IRS. They are a terrible agency. They lie. They're in the business to make money. They make over $80 million a year. $80 billion a year. $80 billion. That's B, not M, B, billion. Billion. So it's really be nice here. Somehow a group of individuals have moved into my area. I don't know where else to go here. I'm sorry if this background noise is too loud in there. It'll get better tomorrow because the holiday will be over there. The thing that I hate about CPS, I'm going to paint you a picture. The picture you can picture right now is a social worker, 8 of them parading around in pink T-shirts, and on the front was stenciled. Professional kidnappers, and on the back it said, "Do you know where your children are at? Do you know where your children are at?" On the back, and on the front it said, "Professional kidnappers." That's sad. And these were 8 social workers at Prescott, in the city of Prescott in Arizona in 2022. And these Prescott individuals were parading around in front of Walmart and Target and so forth. And the message they said was terrible. They were caught, they were fired, and 25 years went up smoke. So I'm telling you, these CPS workers are not your friend. They're not there for you. They're very, very mean and deceitful. And you can picture these 25. They were fired, and so was the director. Left them with one social worker, and that was a guy. But these 25 women who had all these years' experience were fired. But what made them do that? What made them think of mentality? If that's not worse, there's a social worker in Chicago, Illinois, who put on her Facebook just recently an ad from 1848. And this ad said, Black children for sale. Black children for sale in the year 2024. You still have people that still think that. That was a black woman. Why would a black woman, in 2024 put an ad on her Facebook page in Chicago, Illinois, black children for sale? I mean, you can see it. You can find it. Just type in black children for sale. You can see the ad. It's terrible. And the social worker, I don't know what's going to become of her, but those are the people you're dealing with. You're not dealing with professionals. You're not dealing with people that care. They think about money and bonuses. My social worker firsthand, I knew. She talked about her fake eyelashes, her eye makeup, her accessories, her clothes, her BMW car, her Gucci purse she got every week. That's all she'd talk about, what she would make, bonuses with our kids. And it's sad. It really is sad there. Um, don't let them scare you for out of area lawyers. That's intimidation. You can be polite to them. You don't have to tell them where your attorney is. You don't have to tell them you're talking to Vincent Davis. You don't have to say any of that. It's yes, no answers. You got to learn to talk to them like yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Um, so I know they're going to try to use intimidation, Martinez. Um, you know, the director at the top of my Orange County was terrible. So you waste your time trying to go to director supervisors. You need to go to the state, to the civil rights coordinator, and make your complaint there. But they should not be able to dictate what attorney. It's your right to have attorney work for you. Well, in the court of law, everybody that is brought into court has to have attorney. Now you can have attorney for your kids. You'd have to pay for it. But if you can't afford to pay for attorney, they're going to give a court-appointed attorney for the kids. And they're bad. They're going to try to. Your kids have to be strong. They have to learn not to say anything and be positive about you as the parent. I know that's hard to do. These social workers don't like you to talk to your kids. They try to alienate you. You have a hard case, Martinez. You really do. I mean, you're fighting this alone. You don't have a spouse involved. Um, and, you know, don't let them dictate what attorney. And again, if they're going to have an attorney because if they can't afford one or you can't afford one, then the court one is put in there. So um, I'm telling you that you should definitely um, fight. Don't give up. I don't know if you know the story about John Paul Jones, the sailor during the war. And he said that don't give up, fight. Don't give up the ship, fight. You know, this is the whole thing. You or your mom, they're your children. You need to fight them. And that doesn't mean you yell at them or use tactics like they do. You're very professional. Again, I know it's hard to say yes, no answers, but that's the way to deal with it. And if any time you find yourself in a situation where you don't know what to say, just say, I need to talk to my attorney. We need to time out on this matter. If you're in a discussion with a social worker, say time out. I need to speak to my attorney. It's a legitimate timeout. You're supposed to be represented at all times by an attorney. And the dependency court appointed attorneys are not the right ones that are, like, say, ones in criminal court. See, in criminal court, you're innocent till you're proven guilty. But in dependency family court, you are guilty until you're proven innocent. And that is wrong. That is wrong. You should be innocent at all times until you're proven guilty. But CPS has everything stacked against you. All you have to do is think about the 8 pink ladies with the stenciling on the front that says professional kidnappers, or do you know where your children are at? So I feel for you out there. I know that you can still fight, and and uh, and you will get your kids back. Um, uh, KK, I think that is KK. She's from New York. I want to say Rochester, New York. I think she is. That's KK. She's a wonderful mom. She's become an attorney herself, and she's trying to fight with the kids. And every time some good news and some bad news, the social workers will toy with you. They love to toy with you. They love to make promises and have you sign things. So you gotta be thing there. She says I had an FTC where they basically railroaded me out of the social workers, therapists, and everybody that had input from the force to the care agency, and nobody respected anything I said. Nope, they have no respect. They're animals. I don't know how to tell you that I've yet to meet a good social worker. I've talked to one, and she was nice enough for 40 minutes to talk on the show, but I've not heard back from her or any other social workers. I challenge the social worker to come on my show and talk about how you do CPS in your city and state. Brooklyn, New York, not Rochester. Okay, I'm sorry, KK, Brooklyn, New York. Well, welcome. Here's Martinez again from Las Vegas, Nevada. Even though I have uh, a toxic relationship with my mother and my siblings, I've reached out to them as resource to do, and ICC, and they said, "Oh no." Also, oh boy, I know you're trying. You're trying, Martinez. Please follow my rule number one. Call Vincent Davis. It's 888-888-6582. He's close by you, Martinez, and he can help you. He's the best in the land, and so he can help you there. Um, I'm going to put my number back up in case anybody wants to call. That's my phone number to call in. We still have time on the show. We have about a half an hour left of the show. And I want to thank you all for listening, and sharing your comments. I know it's hard. Um, ICPC, yes, that's one. That's an agency, a private agency that will transport kids from one state to another state and supposedly protect them. KK says she doesn't go back to court until September, and to continue fact finding. CPS is still testing. Boy, oh boy. They're going to try to look up anything to discredit you. They're going to look up anything to discredit you. Tell you. Well, it looks like the people are gone. Thank goodness. It's quieter now. Again, I apologize. KK further says, on September 4th, my timeline runs out for FAFSA, FAFSA. So now it's gold change to adoption. No, don't let that happen. You can appeal anything they make a decision on. You need to file an appeal. You need to file an appeal. Anything that they've changed on. Um, oh boy. F S A F A F trying to find out what KK is talking about. FAFSA. Oh, I don't know why people want to be so noisy on the 4th of July. I would think that'd be nice to relax and have food and family and soft talk and watch some fireworks. Jeez. Um, KK, what do you mean? What do you mean? Um, uh, the FAFSA. I know FAFSA was student aid, but what are you talking about, Kay? I tried to put in our order to show cause. The father parent is displaying custodial interference. Okay, the FSA is a timeline to CPS or foster agencies have to honor reunification or change the goal. The agency has given information to people not listed on the report, not listed in the court, not conductive for my family's well-being. Well, I know you say you have an attorney, and you're an attorney yourself. You need to really investigate that further. You need to appeal what is going on with you on that. Um, oh boy. Um, because the allegations is mental impairment, basically I'm not competent enough or logical unless irrational to a parent's safety. Well, you articulate real well, you speak real well, KK, and you know, I'm really, I really, I really hear you when you talk like that. So um, I like to talk about some of my other rules that help you. I have rule number 2, which is the paperwork. You have to have really good paperwork. You need to organize your paperwork and keep track of it. One way is to get yourself a 3-ring, 6-inch thick binder. And you need to stuff it full of notebook paper and put subject tabs in there. And you need to have subjects like incidents, info, parenting classes, programs, court papers. Those are all good subject things. You need to put your stuff related to those in those sections. Now, with incidents, you just start off with the paper. You start off with the oldest incident to start the beginning. It's a timeline, and you want to list the date and time, the location, and the people involved on the first line. The second line, you put down what the incident was about, and the third line is you put down the outcome of the incident. If you don't know it, leave it blank. Come back later and fill it out. This is important because 6 months or a year from now, you won't remember everything. And this way, you keep track. You can show your attorney. You can argue in the court. You can show them this thing happened, that thing. So you need to be organized. Also, with your parenting classes, you need to make a list of them on one sheet of paper. Then, but behind there, put down all the certifications, all the things that you've done those classes. Same thing with programs like anger management or drug rehab program. You need to make a list of all the programs you've taken and then put certificates in that section. With info, it's just about things you found to help you. Websites, names, phone numbers of CPS, and what really can help you and so forth. So that's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. So I'm telling you, um, have that thing organized, and you'd be so much better off. Use highlighters, yellow and pink, to highlight things. And there's so many valuable stuff. Your court papers, arrange them by date, and punch holes and put them in your notebook. This way, you carry that notebook. You have everything pertaining to the case, and with the tabs, you can go to that section a lot quicker. If you took clinical uh, psychology tests or reports, or you have those kinds of things, you have a section for that. So what you do is you divide everything into sections, and then you put the paperwork that pertains to it. That way, it organizes yourself. I didn't do that. You need to do that, and that's rule number 2. And rule number 3 is you got to not talk to social workers or police. You don't let them in your home. You don't let them take your children. And you talk to them professionally, but it's yes, no answers. And if it gets sticky, you just say, I need a timeout. I want to talk to my attorney. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. Nothing wrong with saying that. Um, there's nothing wrong with that. So it's very important. Um, KK says, see, she said some other things too here. And again, I don't know what you guys see or not see. So I maybe read them out loud, but maybe you guys see them in there. But oh, hi, Faye. You came. All right, Faye. Faye is from Richmond, Kentucky. She is a wonderful mother going through a hard time in her life. And she's been so helpful on the show there. Um, KK was saying that um, at the FTC conference we just had, because I was stating the laws and the things they were watching during the uh, conference, where my input was so greatly dismissed. Oh, that's terrible, KK. I'm sorry to hear that. Um, I was told by the supervisors that the law is not important because we're not on trial. Everything is important, KK. Don't believe that. Martinez from Monterey Park in California, or East LA. My questions: if 2 of my sons go to LA County doctors, it was a general hospital. Well, here's the thing is, don't go to CPS doctors. Go to your pediatrician. You have a pediatrician for all your kids. That's who you should see. You can trust him, but don't trust doctors that CPS may suggest that you have to go to, Martinez. KK, I have a book I made for every month. I had a visit. Uh, I had a visit what we did and how it went, and what was the overall uh, outcome. That's great, KK. Hang on to that book. That's like a journal. I tell people always to keep a journal in life. A journal is really important. I keep a journal on my calendar. It's not really a journal, but it's the dates and times I do things or pay bills and stuff. But I think a journal is great. I have books to do journals, but I'm just very terrible about doing handwriting things. Um, Martinez from East LA says um, it's better. It's It's better to change them to uh, a regular clinic. Well, it's okay, but you got to be careful because you don't know the clinic. That's what I'm trying to tell you. A pediatrician that you've been taking your kids for all their life, if they're 10 years old, that's the pediatrician that'll help you in court. They'll help you write letters and say that you've been a good mom and have taken care of your kids' medical needs. Um, KK says, uh, from Rochester, New York, she says, I also have audio messages, video footages, emails, text messages, and body cam footage, which have had transmitted and certified. Good job on you. You got to, KK. You got to. They are corrupt, and you're really doing bad with that agency. It really is really, really tough there. KK says, I have a book also that has every court order, every neglect act in violation or contempt motion that I attempted to file but were not granted. Good point. I'm so glad you are organized, KK. That's good. Um, on the same FTC, the faster parent stated she wanted to put my children and swim classes. You need your permission. You're right. You have your parental rights. You have a decision where your kid goes to school, what activities that they participate in, and what doctor they go to. You have those rights as a parent. Don't let them take away your rights. And KK says, hi, Faye. And I know Faye will say hi back. KK, they changed my children's doctors and specialists to foster care. You cannot let them change it. It's your medical rights. You got to tell them, KK. I determine who my kids see, not CPS. Not CPS or foster care. You got to be strong about that. The agency decided to implement a therapist without my permission nor signature, nor collaborated. That's bad news. Keep track of that. Have your attorney fight in court with that. That's wrong. They're overstepping their bounds. KK says the foster parent stated my children have been doing much better since there has been no communication or action with me. They're going to say that. They have a conflict of interest. They're foster children. They want to take your children. They're foster parents. That's their goal. That's their goal. Um, well, they picked my child. Uh, they picked my child junior high school, and I had to say, so it does not accommodate the goals on the EP, nor does it offer a uh, part of any services. Okay. KK further says, when I started for the facilitator on the FTC, my visits were suspended wrongful prior to going to court. Sure, they are. They love to do that. They love to hurt and terrible against your children. That is really wrong. That is really, really wrong. They love to do that. Um, they said my children don't want to have anything to do with me. That they don't. This part about alienation, it's against the law to alienate your children. There should be some effort that they did family unification. And you have grounds right there, and you need to take it to a higher authority and maybe have it changed out or something like that. So I'm sorry that what you're going through. I really am. I'm sorry what you're going through. Um, so I've talked about rule number 2. Rule 1 was to get an attorney. Rule 2 is the paperwork. Now, rule 3, that is where you don't want to let them in your home. You don't want to talk to them. You don't have to by law. There has to be imminent danger for them to come in your home. That means there's a crime in progress.
There's domestic violence going on, yelling and screaming. There is a child being slammed against the wall or physically being abused. Those are intimate dangers. They have to come into your home. But if there's no intimate dangers, my three children were in school. How were they in intimate danger when they took my kids? How were they? The school was doing nothing to them. My children were in the STEM classes. That means it's a science class, it's a technology class, an engineering class, a math class. They're academically high standards. Both of my boys and my daughter play sports. My son was on the varsity team, and in his 4 years of high school, he won two national championships. That means the top high school in the country. And so he's very blessed. So you tell me my sons were in extreme danger when they took them. They weren't. They weren't in extreme danger. And it was really, 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 really sad uh, what they do, what they do. It's awful. It's an awful thing that they do. And so I'm telling you that you have to really keep them out of your home because they will find things and they'll go to places and things that they shouldn't have. Wow, now we got the Blue Angels. Jeez. I've had everything today. I mean, I've had a parade and Blue Angels, and jeez, you can't go wrong here. It's definitely a 4th of July. But I'm glad to spend it with you guys because I care. And KK and Martinez and Faye, you're beautiful people. You're beautiful people, and I do care about you. And I wish I could just wave a wand and make your lives get better. But I thank you so much for sharing. We have about 9 minutes left of the podcast. I know it's running a little bit late, but I want to give you guys a full hour, and it's almost over there. And so we've had Martinez and KK and Faye here talk to me in the room, which is great. I know there's other people that are listening, and you don't have to text a comment or call in. My phone's been available if anybody wants to call and talk about anything. I'd love to have you call in. Uh, but anyway, rule number 3 is that you just learn to say no. And if you're inside the house, don't answer the door. Go hide somewhere. In fact, I'd want to relate a story. There was a black airman, 23 years old, on May 3rd of this year, that went to answer the door and he was shot 5 times point blank. He's dead. That's sad. And the sheriff who did it handled the whole case wrong. It was suspected domestic violence, but the sheriff did no investigation at all. He just hammered on the door a bunch of times, not say anything. And then when he finally says something, the guy came to the door and he was carrying a gun because he was worried about his safety. He had a license to carry the gun. He was on the phone talking to his girlfriend on FaceTime. So she was watching being shot and gunned down. There's footages from the phone he was using and footages from the body cam from the sheriff. And it's point blank murder. It was point blank murder. There's no need you have to kill someone to take them out. I mean, don't you sheriffs or policemen go to school to learn how to shoot a gun? You can shoot them in the foot, the shoulder, the arm. Why 5 times in the heart? I mean, that is stupid. The guy's going to be dead. Yes, he's dead. Yes, you're alive. But that guy is only 20. I don't know anything about the sheriff. We don't know what race he is, how old he was, or if he's had other problems. But all I know is that that guy in the Air Force who graduated from high school, left Alabama, went to Florida, and pledged his life for his country and to serve in the United States Air Force is a wonderful, wonderful man. He's gone. He's gone. You can't bring him back. His girlfriend, she lost a potential, maybe a husband. I don't know. But it's sad. So I'm telling you, don't answer the door. Hide. I mean, what the policeman should have done is he should investigate first by listening and going to windows and see if there is anybody in there arguing or yelling. Then he should off to the side, knock on the door, and then very clearly said, I am the sheriff from Gainesville Sheriff Department. I I have a domestic violence report. How many people in there are you guys fighting? If he says there's only one person, then you tell that person, unlock your door, lay face down, put your hands behind your head. If you have a weapon, put it to your side. And then the sheriff could open the door slowly, peered from around the door jamb, and then assess the situation, put handcuffs on him, scoot the weapon further away, and then check the rest of the apartment for anybody else. And everybody else will be saved or be alive. It is wrong what happened. And this happens time after time, too many times. There are sheriffs, there are guns standing in front of the door. You don't stand in front of a door. I mean, guns can shoot through doors. Anyway, that's the message I'm trying to convey for you all, not to open the door. There's also another thing called medical trafficking. And medical trafficking is where you go to the hospital late at night, your child's very ill, you want the doctor to check them out, you find out what's wrong with them, and maybe you suggest, I want to go see my pediatrician in the morning. Well, the doctor's going to call CPS, or CPS is on standby. They're going to take your child because you're not having them treated there. They'll make up some concoction. So be very careful. Hospitals have CPS social workers working in them. That also goes true for having a child. If you're birthing your birthing room, make it understood by the hospital staff that no one but the people you want are in that room. You don't need a social worker or a policeman to take your child because you tested positive for drugs or something like that. First of all, you should be tested early on, and you shouldn't be doing drugs when you're pregnant. But anyway, besides the point, that's what's been happening a lot lately. Women barely have the child, and the social worker and the police barge in and take the child. That's wrong. That's illegal. They got to have a warrant. So watch the medical trafficking. And if I was you, and I hate to say this, but you're involved in CPS or after you, then I would put your kids out of harm's way and put them with next of kin in another state where they can't go after them, because they're going to try to go after you. They're going to try to go after you. Their whole goal is, we need to make money. We need to make $20,000 per child. In the LA County, which Martinez is in, they make 15,500 per child. In Orange County, it's 20,000. I think in Kentucky, Faye was telling me it was about 8,000, or was that Washington 8,000? Faye may say it was 12,000. But anyway, it's a lot of money. And if you have 100 families with 3 kids that are in custody, in 1 month they make $6 million in 1 month off 100 families with 3 kids, 300 children. And I know that LA and Orange County has that much. So they're making $6 million a month. I mean, that's where your $80 billion is being made. And my social workers have told me how they lecture the money. Now, my last rule is a real simple one. And that's something you need to find out. Okay, here's my friend from Liberia, Archie. Welcome, Archie. I really want to thank you for listening. We have Archie from Liberia, from West Africa along the coast. And he is very much involved in Scouts. Now, Scouts is boys and girls that do activities together. It used to be called the Boy Scouts, but now it's called Scouts. And they've allowed girls now in there. And so he's a leader, and he has programs to help out his kids because they have a bad case of CPS system over there in Liberia. And I'm so glad to have you, Archie. But going back to my rule number 4 is, you need to research. The internet is your key to you getting your kids back. It's a gold mine. There's so much the internet has. They have stories and history and cases that you can research. So if you're in, let's say you're in Atlanta, Georgia, well, you want to look up CPS in Atlanta, Georgia, and look at all the different things, or type in other expressions about CPS in Atlanta, Georgia. You need to be authoritative of the city you're in, because they've really been bad towards you. So I'm telling you that you really need to do that research, because you'll become powerful. Knowledge is powerful, and that's the way you're going to beat your case. Now, I have about 1 minute left here. I want to thank all of you. Archie is sorry you came in late. By the way, everybody, I'll be on at 5 o'clock tonight, not 7 o'clock. It's 4th of July, and I want to have some time with my family. So I'll do my podcast from 5 to 6 tonight. That's Pacific Standard Time, 5 to 6. So please join me at that time. Uh, I welcome Archie. Thank you. KK, you're beautiful to come back and keep me updated. I want you to still keep doing that. Keep fighting. Don't let them try to push you around. Martinez from East LA, California, thank you so much for your input and stuff. Get a hold of Mr. Davis. All of you should call that number 888-888-6582 and set up a, uh, a time. And Faye, I cannot thank you enough for showing up, just having your presence. Faye's from Richmond, Kentucky, and she's a wonderful mom, and she's fighting to hang on to her son who has special needs. Um, so I think that's all the people in the room. I want to thank you all for listening to me. And Diana Guzman, I can't forget you. I'm sorry, Diana Guzman. Thank you for calling in too. Don't forget Diana Guzman. And so I'll see you tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And uh, God bless you all. And um, uh, happy 4th of July. And this is Bob Pace signing off.